action against traditional rivals New Zealand. It's a world-class finish, a world-class play.
Gilnick, and it's in! Emily Gilnick gives Australia the lead before half-time.
Oh, Katie Bowen does, and that's in the back of the net for New Zealand.
Hayley Razzo, what a return! And Fowler in the back of the net.
And now remain standing for the Australian National Anthem.
Good evening and welcome to Deakin Stadium, the home of Canberra, Croatia Football Club for the Junior International Friendly between the CommBank Young Matildas and the Junior Football Ferns. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator, and joining me here this evening on top of the gantry is none other than former Matilda herself and Canberra United star, Grace Gill. Welcome, Grace.
Thanks so much. It's a pleasure to be alongside you here, Russ, and what a beautiful evening here in Canberra for football.
Couldn't be a better evening for football. The two teams are out and getting ready to go, so we better go through the lineup, starting with the Australian under-20s, the CommBank Young Matildas. Leah Blaney, their head coach, has gone for a 4-1-2-3, it would seem, on paper. Chloe Lincoln in goal, Kush LaRue, Naomi Chidima, Gemma Ferris and Emma Ilioski across the back. Hannah Jones in the holding role, Dania Galich and Sarah Hunter in front of her. Janaya Dos Santos, Carly Johnson and Sheridan Gallagher lead the line. It's a potent-looking lineup, it's a strong-looking lineup, and it's one that the home fans will be hoping can do the business.
Oh, look, there's some star quality in that starting lineup for the Young Matildas. There's some real familiar faces too from the Liberty A-League Women's, and some real stars not only for the future but as of right now, Russ.
Let's take a look at the Junior Football Ferns. Their head coach, Gemma Lewis, has gone for a 4-2-1-3, it would appear. Bree Edwards is in goal. Marissa Vandermeer, Kitty Jacobs, Katie Taylor and Gemma Catherwood across the back. Katie Duncan, Charlotte Wilford Carroll and Chloe Bellamy, the midfield three. And their front three, Ronnie Wasser, Charlotte Lancaster, both flanking Ava Pritchard.
Also, some really familiar faces in amongst the Junior Football Ferns as well. Some really quality players, again, from the Liberty A-League Women's, looking to ply their trade with their international team, international football as well. 11
players on the bench for New Zealand, only the 8 for Australia this evening. The referee is Anna-Marie Keehee. Sarah Jones and Emma Kobeck are the assistants, and Georgia Girardello is the fourth official, and it will be the Young Matildas in the yellow, about to get us underway. Their first competitive match for Leah Blaney's team since the conclusion of the 2019 AFC Under-19 Women's Championship and the build-up to the Under-20 World Cup in Costa Rica gets underway in earnest. And Grace, what are we expecting from the entertainment value this evening?
Well, I think it's actually going to be a really competitive match in terms of the quality we see on both sides, both with the Junior Football Ferns and the Young Matildas. There's some real star power in there, and I think in terms of their international preparation, they're both going to be looking for quality performances and results this evening.
Well, the Junior Football Ferns, of course, in the black. There's Wassa. Missed out Bellamy in the midfield, but it found Wilfred Carroll, and her pass is a little bit loose. You can imagine both these sides, Grace, are just happy to be back on the park. We'll come to that in just a moment. There's a Junior Matildas on the attack and a real opportunity in early stages, and a decent save in the end from Bree Edwards. Opportunity for Dos Santos.
That's a quality save early on from Bree Edwards. We know she had to really bide her time with the Wellington Phoenix in the A-League Women's to get some game time, but she started confidently. That's a good tip around for a Young Matildas corner.
First set piece of the evening, and the Young Matildas flood the penalty area. It swung into the danger zone. It might come out here for Dos Santos, and that's a goal! The perfect start for the Young Matildas. It's taken them less than 90 seconds or so, and they're in front already.
Well, what a way for Dos Santos to welcome herself into international football with scoring here for the Young Matildas. A really tidy finish too, and the Junior Football Ferns just were unable to effectively clear that one from the corner, and the Matildas have gotten off to a solid start.
Off to a flyer, those in yellow, or green and gold I should say. And work for the Football Ferns to do already. They are capable though. That's a chase for Lancaster.
Scored for CommBank Young Matildas, number 8, Yana Dos Santos.
Good little crowd turned up here this evening. This is the first of two matches, of course, that this pair will play. As Pritchard goes down in the box, asks for a penalty. Nothing doing. Here's Vandermeer, who you may be familiar with, Australian viewers, from a stint with Melbourne City. Wassi has a chance to run at the defence and earns herself a free kick. Important stage of the game, isn't it, for the Football Ferns, after looking to see how they recover from that, Grace?
Yeah, well, of course, we look to the sort of big 5 minutes after these moments, whether it's kick-off or second half, conceding goals, scoring goals. It's so important that the Young Matildas are defensively sound here, and this is a good opportunity for the Junior Football Ferns. With Duncan, Russ, standing over the ball.
Katie Duncan to load it into a crowded penalty area. Chloe Lincoln has to make her mind up whether she comes for it depending on the delivery. It's a deep one towards the far post. It was won well at the back by Katie Taylor, wearing the captain's armband this evening, but no trouble for Chloe Lincoln.
Also entirely unsurprising to see Kate Taylor get up for that one. We saw throughout her campaign with the Wellington Phoenix just how instrumental she was at the back for them, and similarly tonight wearing the captain's armband, just displaying those same leadership qualities we saw from her throughout the Phoenix's inaugural season.
An opposite number, Sheridan Gallagher, who we saw leading the line for the Western Sydney Wanderers.
Yeah, it's a really important opportunity here for Sheridan Gallagher, pulling on the armband for her team, and a huge call in terms of just stepping up and showing those leadership qualities and leading this young side. She's got a great future ahead of her, Sheridan Gallagher, if she wants it, so I'm really interested to see how she takes this opportunity of leading the side.
I think the Junior Football Ferns will be a bit disappointed there that they were given the free kick for the foul on Charlotte Wilfred Carroll, because Ava Pritchard looked like she was away. They pulled it back, no advantage played. Here's Jacobs. Taylor swings it out to the left-hand side, inviting Catherwood to join in. Katie Duncan across to offer some support. Leah Blaney, of course, in charge of the Young Matildas. Opposition here is right behind the coach's bench. You might be able to hear them this evening. That's swinging towards Wassey on the far post. She's going to recover this, but she left it short, and there's a chance for the Young Matildas to bring it away with Daniela Galic. Here's Hannah Jones. Chinema. And Kush LaRue. Confident start, you'd have to say, for Leah Blaney's troops.
Yeah, look, they've started, you'd have to say, a little bit with the ascendancy, looking to control the ball nice and early and just get their foot on it. Early possession important in this kind of match, because we know that if Gemma Lewis deploys a similar tactic as to what she does with the Wellington Phoenix, it's a pretty high pressing game from the young side, and they certainly look to be putting the Young Matildas under early pressure.
Well done by Wilfred Carroll in midfield. Won the battle with Galic, Jacobs. And Brie Edwards gets a touch of the ball. The first one was to pick it out the back of the net.
This is a big game for a name you've just mentioned there in Kitty Jacobs, and this is her first national team call-up, so to be playing for her national team, the under-20 side, it's a huge opportunity for the youngster, and I'm sure she'll be looking to impress.
Yeah, product of the Western Springs Club. Chinema plays it forward. Looking for the run here of Carly Johnson in behind. Didn't quite come off. As I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, this is the first time that the Young Matildas have played since the Under-19 AFC Championship qualifiers, in which they lost in the semi-finals, but did enough to qualify for the World Cup. Mary Fowler scored 4 times in that campaign. She's done all right for herself.
Oh, she's done pretty well, I think, going forward from there.
Jones wins the tackle, goes for the effort from distance. Hannah Jones, and that wasn't too far away. Edwards was worried. Ambitious effort.
Well, Sarah Hunter on that occasion.
Apologies, it was Taylor Hunter.
Sarah Hunter, she's absolutely got that in her arsenal. She's had a wonderful season this year with Sydney FC, again in the Liberty A-League Women's competition, and established herself. And she's a hugely important part of this Young Matildas side in terms of the experience and quality she brings, and she's just such a workhorse in that midfield.
It's a loose one, almost pounced upon by Lancaster. Kush LaRue back in battling. Got a bit excited then, thought it was Jones. Here's Emma Ilioski, the hometown player from Canberra United. Well, she's left it behind. And this is Jones. For Chinema.
Of course, Jones was actually a player who spent the season with the Wellington Phoenix, so she's up against some of her former teammates from the most recent season. Sydney Uni player as well, and didn't get too much time with the Phoenix, but a quality young player, great defensive holding midfielder there, and she'll be looking to get some good minutes in her legs tonight too for the Young Matildas.
Dos Santos made a run in behind the defence here. Could swing it in towards Johnson. The defensive work completed by Katie Duncan. Strong start for Leah Blaney's team. Leah Blaney, the Katoomba-born Blaney, was a member of the Canberra United squad in 2010-11. She also served for Sydney FC, Boston Aztec, Boston Breakers, amongst others, spell in Sweden. Very well travelled. This one for Gallagher to chase. And she's going to use her strength well here. Sheridan Gallagher up against Marissa Vandermeer. Jones into the area. Carly Johnson, lovely turn on to get it onto that right foot. Shot might be on for Hunter here. And the Football Ferns, Junior Football Ferns rather, defending well, and they've got themselves a free kick.
Yeah, it's one the Junior Football Ferns have got to be really cognizant of. That ball at the top of the 18-yard box there we saw just a few moments ago. Again, Sarah Hunter picking up a loose ball and getting a shot away, and I mentioned that she does have that one in her locker, and in terms of trying to be able to clear that, get that out of a dangerous zone, the Junior Football Ferns really have to be alert to that one this evening.
Mentioned in the Australians' qualification from the 2019 AFC Under-19 Championships. Well, the New Zealanders went through the 2019 AFC Under-19 Championships. They swept everyone aside. Kelly Brown was the leading scorer at that competition, held in the Cook Islands, and in the 5 matches she scored a remarkable 21 goals. Obviously not here anymore, but that's some effort. 21 goals in 5 matches. Now Johnson's robbed the defensive cover here of Jacobs, and Edwards had to come out to tidy up. Some effort, isn't it? 21 in 5. Did you get that many, Grace?
Never in my life, Russ, but yeah, Kelly Brown, a fantastic addition again for the Wellington Phoenix squad throughout the Liberty A-League Women's, and that's quite a goal haul you've mentioned there.
Yeah, she got 11 against Samoa. They won 30-0, believe it or not. Jones goes forward for Gallagher. Galich is robbed in midfield, and it's going to break for Wilfred Carroll here. She's tried to send Lancaster away, but Ruse read that run and does well here until she gives it away. Here's a chance for Lancaster to get the ball in, but the flag has gone up on this near side for offside. As I mentioned, first of 2 matches, both of them broadcast live on Bar TV Sports. Thanks to Bar TV for jumping on board this, and the FFA or Football Australia, I should say, for making it happen. Viking Park, the venue on Sunday for 2 o'clock. This is the first time, Grace, that this new group of New Zealand players have ever played non-OFC opposition at this level. Ahead of the Under-20 World Cup, it's really important to play diverse sides, isn't it? We'll come back to that in just a second. Dos Santos holding the ball up. Off to Johnson. Might line one up here, Carly Johnson. Took a deflection and will roll away for a corner, but it is important to play different sides ahead of a World Cup, isn't it?
Absolutely. In terms of getting that international football experience, minutes in legs is crucial, and against quality opposition as well for the young Matildas, for the Matildas. It's absolutely imperative to prepare for those international competitions.
Delivery into the penalty area. Edwards comes. Fists it away. Returned by Jones. Sydney Matildas, of course, in action on Friday in Townsville, and then on Tuesday in Canberra against New Zealand, the Football Ferns. You can get your tickets for those games. It'd be great to see as many people as possible at both those matches supporting the Matildas. And the junior counterparts, if you've just tuned in, took the lead very early here. Janada Santos with the goal, and here's Pritchard in behind, and the flag stays down. Ava Pritchard one-on-one. Real chance for the Junior Football Ferns, denied by Chloe Lincoln. Super stop by the Canberra United goalkeeper.
Oh, what a save there from Chloe Lincoln. That had to be an equaliser for the Junior Football Ferns, and what an opportunity. But Chloe Lincoln, she's made the right decision. She's come out, she's made herself big, smothered a really great opportunity for the Ferns, but unsurprising from Chloe Lincoln. She had a wonderful tail end of the campaign with Canberra United, and I've sung her praises on a number of occasions, but 17 years old, and she's just got such an exciting future ahead of her.
A big frame as well, and it's imposing when the centre forward's bearing down on goal, looking for a gap. But positives for New Zealand, the way they managed to carve open that opportunity for Pritchard. Gallagher's dawdled on it. Wilfred Carroll got a foot in. Wassey returns it to the Eastern Suburbs product. Australia quick to win it back. Hunter. This time it's Katie Duncan making the challenge in midfield. They're getting a lot of joy in there, New Zealand, with their press.
Yeah, a couple of moments of impatience there from the young Matildas. They're winning back good possession in the midfield despite some really good heavy pressure from the Football Ferns, but just need to be a little bit more patient on that final ball over the top.
Marissa van der Meer will take the throw.
And of course, Marissa van der Meer spent the season, this A-League Women's, with Melbourne City, and unfortunately for her, she didn't get much in the way of game time or minutes, just the 5 appearances across the campaign. But she's a wonderful young player, so certainly finding herself a club where she's able to get more regular football is going to be really important for her. And she's been involved at the national team setup with New Zealand for a while now as part of the under-17 side, and she's been eligible for 2 cycles with this under-20s team, which is just fantastic in terms of international experience. Absolutely
Flattened there by Sheridan Gallagher.
She
Gets
was
a free kick. Would have picked up a huge amount of experience though at Melbourne City there, you would think. Duncan on the set piece again. Once again, Taylor is an obvious target. That's a deeper one in towards the penalty area, and that's deflected. And it could have gone anywhere. I think it was Gallagher that may have got the head on it, and for a moment I think Chloe Lincoln may have been a little bit worried.
That was a good ball put in there by Kate Duncan, another player who spent some time with the under-17s national team in New Zealand under Nat Lawrence, and a versatile midfielder. She's really good on the ball, and we've seen on a couple of occasions already her set-piece delivery. We get our first look here as well at a New Zealand corner.
Wilfred Carroll tasked with the delivery. A crowded 6-yard box. Whole cluster of players in there, making life difficult for Chloe Lincoln. They've gone deeper with it. Well, Wassey tried something special from the edge of the penalty area. Didn't come off. It's won back though by Van der Meer. And Australia have it back again. Jones deflects rather kindly into the path of Galich. Ilioski wins it back. Here's Gemma Farris. The Football New South Wales product. Noticeable, it's quite helter-skelter in the middle of the park, isn't it? In these early stages, unsurprisingly so.
Yeah, you can hear the encouragement as well there from Gemma Lewis, asking the young junior football ferns to apply that pressure really high, and on that occasion they did win the ball back and look forward early. And really, definitely see the high intensity game that Gemma Lewis really tries to embed in this young side.
Chinnaman's gone long. I was going to say there's a really important cut-out from Catherwood then, otherwise Dos Santos might have been away. Pritchard. Wassey. Now Lancaster will chase. Hunter going back to try and help out, and Lancaster's gone for goal. Ambitious effort from that angle. Flag went up as well. But why not? You can hear Gemma Lewis probably barking the instructions. She's named a 23-player squad for this series. A heavy accent, obviously, on the Wellington Phoenix contingent. The Welsh coach. Had the pleasure of talking to her a couple of times during the Liberty A-League season on the sideline, and I think she took an awful lot from this first season away from home, given the conditions that the Wellington Phoenix squad found themselves playing in that bubble in Wollongong. We're going to see an early change here, I think, for New Zealand. And Rennie Wassey is coming off to be replaced by Olivia Ingram.
Yeah, we see off screen here, she's just propped for a moment and sort of bent down and held at her knee, so I'm not sure if she's picked up an early knock, but she spent a bit of time over in the USA actually, Renee Wassey, right in Loyola Marymount College in California, and as a young player as well, had also done an ACL, so whether or not there's some sort of residual pain or a bit of injury concern there, better not to risk it and just make an early substitution.
Ingham joins the fray. Interesting substitution, wasn't it? Because there was no indication that she was struggling. If there was, I mean, there was a couple of runs, she hit it quite well.
Yeah, it was a fairly lively start from Wassey, so disappointing to see her exit so early, but you can understand precautionary, and you mentioned Russ with such a deep bench this evening, the junior football ferns can definitely pull into some of their ranks as they've done there with Ingham.
And Wassey will get some treatment off camera. Junior Matildas on the attack again. Once more swung in towards Gallagher. Lancaster. A good outlet for them on that left flank in the early stages of the match. They've turned it over here though, and an opportunity for Galich in the area. Goes down under the challenge, and the referee awards the penalty. Little doubt about it, I don't think, from this distance. And a chance for the young Matildas to double their advantage.
Yeah, look, definitely where we're from, it looked like there was a little bit too much contact, a bit of a leg left in on that challenge there on Galich, and I was going to say, I dare say it'll be Sarah Hunter who steps up to take this one, and sure enough, she is walking up to the spot.
Real opportunity for the home side to give themselves a cushion. 20 minutes in. Sarah Hunter up against Bree Edwards. It's a Sydney-Wellington battle of wits from the spot. Hunter, one of the more experienced players in this Young Matildas outfit. And from the spot, she buries it confidently. And the Young Matildas are 2 to the goods here at Deakin Stadium and looking pretty.
That was a really well taken penalty there from Sarah Hunter, the 18-year-old. She's looked lively in the opening minutes of this evening's match, and a really quality player again with another great future ahead of her. She started her Liberty A-League women's season, or campaign should I say, with the Western Sydney Wanderers before moving to Sydney FC, and she's had a great year this last one.
And here they come again straight away. Johnson, Taylor snuffs that one out at source. Perhaps there was a couple of years of pent-up frustration of not playing in this performance from the Young Matildas so far. It's been tough for everybody involved. Galich gets it back. She was involved heavily in the penalty incident, and she started well. Daniela Galich. If Leah Brainey could have written the script for this one, Grace, I dare say, this would have been something like it, wouldn't it? 2-0 up.
Absolutely, Russ. And Daniela Galich, another really promising young player, a really clever midfielder, an absolute playmaker, and it's been really nice seeing her early on combining with Sarah Hunter, and I think that's quite a complementary partnership that's already forming in the opening minutes of this match.
Gallagher's the latest one to try it from range. I think they may have seen something with Bree Edwards, how far she's been off her line, because Hunter's had a go, Gallagher's had a go.
I think they're two players that both have that in their locker, and in terms of just the awareness and the field awareness to see Bree Edwards' positioning, and if she is off her line, she's not necessarily the tallest of keepers, and if you hit that well, you can catch a keeper off guard.
Confidence brimming through the Young Matildas at the moment. Here's Lancaster looking to set Pritchard forward. Chinema wins it at the back and can join in the attack. Naomi Chinema from Melbourne City alongside Gemma Ferris from Football New South Wales. It's a partnership that we might see at the Under-20 World Cup.
Yeah, well, of course, Chinema didn't have too many matches this year with Melbourne City and had to really bide her time and push for that spot. But she's a good leader at the back here for the Young Matildas, and she's had a couple of important early interceptions.
Football Ferns not without their chances. There was that really good one-on-one opportunity for Pritchard that Lincoln saved, but in the main, the Australians dictating the tempo and the play, and they have themselves another set piece. Sarah Hunter over the free kick. 4 to aim for in the penalty area. Couldn't beat the player at the near post. There's the dancing feet of Galich again. And yet another corner. And the Football Ferns struggling to hold her.
Well, Galich, a really exciting player for me in this opening 20 minutes. Her footwork's been really, really impressive so far, and a player I haven't seen play too much in the way of minutes, but she's impressed.
Jones looking to put it into the area, but the flag has gone up. You're watching live football on Bar TV Sports here from Deakin Stadium, home of Canberra Croatia, your home club, Grace Gill, for the WMPL. Really well-run football club. One of the most storied clubs in Canberra at both men's and women's level. Great to see them hosting international football.
Of course, a beautiful field out here at Deakin Stadium, and hopefully both the Junior Football Ferns and the Young Matildas are enjoying the quality and enjoying the evening here in Canberra. It's It's a nice cool evening, just a bit of a slight breeze picking up.
Doing some defending again, the Football Ferns. And yet another corner. This pitch was relayed only a couple of weeks ago. It's bedded in quite nicely. Had a match on it on the weekend. But it's in very good nick. The last 2 or 3 corners have been quite dangerous for the Australians. And set pieces obviously something that they work on quite rigorously at international level. That one swung in towards Gallagher, who was the target. Might come out for Dos Santos, who's hit. Jones under pressure and robbed by Lancaster. Ingham's making a run ahead. Pritchard too. It's 4-3 briefly. Asking too much of the substitutes. Forrest. Here's Johnson. Couldn't quite get the toe on it that she wanted, but there's plenty of yellow, gold shirts in this attack. Dos Santos wriggles past one. Can't get past the second. This will sit up for Hunter to try her luck. Sarah Hunter! Oh, that's off the bar and the post. What a hit!
Oh, that is a beautiful strike there from Sarah Hunter. And again, she's just picked up the ball, the top of the 18-yard box, and that is some hit. She's got to be disappointed not to see that one sail into the back of the net.
How has it not gone in? It's defied the laws of physics. It's hit the underside of the bar and the post and somehow come back out. Would have been an absolute worldie from Sarah Hunter. And she can't go much closer without scoring. I think Leah Blaney's asking for goal line technology below us.
Well, fair enough to be asking the question on that one. That was a great hit by Hunter.
And as she said, very disappointed it didn't go in. She'll be shaking her head when she watches the replay back later on, as we are right now. Here's Chinema. And the pattern of the game has very much been set. Mostly Young Matilda's possession, mostly Young Matilda's chances, but the Junior Football Ferns on the break have threatened. Free kick's gone early. Here's Gallagher in on the far post. Sheridan Gallagher, and she's put it over. A glorious opportunity for Sheridan Gallagher, which 9 times out of 10, I dare say, she would have found the target.
Yeah, that was a really good, neat passage of play there from the Young Matildas. A lovely little 1-2 again by Galich just around the corner, but she was clipped in a foul, but a beautiful early ball in from Hunter to find Gallagher, and she'll be so disappointed not to bury that one, but that's a great early look.
Here they come again. Galich to Johnson. Did everything right, didn't she? Brought it down, killed it, and just couldn't get over the finish. And the Junior Football Ferns needs to grab hold of the ball, and Ingham is looking for Pritchard, and she's gone too early, and the flag goes up. But she's got some pace over Pritchard, doesn't she? And she's causing the Australians some problems. And if they get that right, which they did earlier, if they can get it right again, they might be back in this contest.
Well, Eva Pritchard, another quality young player we saw perform for the Wellington Phoenix. And just a couple of times she's found herself offside there. Really has to be conscious of her timing of that run and just check off the shoulder of her defender. Give herself a step of space, but she's getting herself into some good quality positions there.
As are the Australians. Jones, flag stays down. Opportunity in the penalty area. It's still Hannah Jones, but it's rolled away from her. Andrew Howe gave me some stats I asked him for in the week, and he came up with Australia defeated New Zealand in the final of the 2002 Under-19 World Cup qualifiers to qualify for their first Women's Youth World Cup finals, which was held in Canada. He knows everything, Andrew Howe, doesn't he? Amongst many other things, and I'll drop a few more in for you later.
As the best in the game. And
absolutely is.
For those stats, so thank you.
You can follow him on Twitter. Comes up with some absolute pearlers. Things you never knew and you never thought you never needed to know. Leah Blaney actually played the last time the Young Matildas qualified for the 2006 for the FIFA Under-20 World Cup final in Russia in 2006. Australia defeated New Zealand 3-0 on that occasion and lost to Brazil and drew with Russia, finished third in their group. There was some names that are familiar to us in that group, and you were one of them, weren't you, Grace?
I was indeed, a former teammate of Leah Blaney's, and as you mentioned, Russ, the last under-20 side to qualify for the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup. Quite an experience, coming up to 16 years ago.
Colette McCullum was in that group, wasn't she? Sally Shippard was another name.
Some wonderful players.
I wonder if for 16 years' time we'll be talking about this group in the same vein.
I'm sure we will.
Another corner. They're racking up now, and that's swung into the 6-yard box. In the main, though, the Junior Football Ferns have defended them very well. Wriggling through is Johnson. Wanted the corner, didn't get a deflection.
Johnson did pretty well there to evade a couple of defenders. Got a touch just out from under her feet, but we've seen a couple of good quality deliveries in from Sarah Hunter on these corners now for the Young Matildas, and definitely a tactic that they're looking to utilise their set pieces. Corners definitely working in their favour.
Yeah, like a crowded metro station in there, and the Junior Football Ferns with Jacobs and Taylor and Duncan and their taller players have actually defended them very well. Looking after their goalkeeper, protecting Brie Edwards, and when she's needed to come, she's dealt with the crosses herself. But it is the Young Matildas in the ascendancy.
And of course, I mentioned Brie Edwards. She had to bide her time with the Wellington Phoenix. She came on in the 81st minute of their 2-0 defeat to Melbourne Victory in the A-League Women's, and had a pretty good performance, and then started against Adelaide. Lily Alfeld was obviously called up for the Football Ferns, a national team call-up, so Brie Edwards had to step up and do a job, and she's had a pretty positive night this evening so far.
I think I was at that game in Wollongong when Lily Alfeld came off for Brie Edwards, and never seen a player come off and look so happy to be coming off. The camaraderie between the two there was lovely to see, and she was delighted for Edwards to get a chance in a Liberty A-League debut. Close-knit group that Gemma Lewis forged at the Phoenix.
Yeah, and Lily Alfeld, a really important part of that in terms of her leadership, and what she brought to that Wellington Phoenix side was just paramount.
Gallagher uses her strength well just to roll the challenge. Felt nicely for Galich. Hunter. Rue joins in again. Once again, the Football Ferns quick to snuff it out, but they've turned it over once more, and that's going to be an annoyance for Gemma Lewis.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of hard work to win the ball back, and just within one or two passes, pretty easily giving it away again, and just needing to be able to settle that possession down, connect a few passes and build a bit of confidence, but just a little lazy with that possession at the moment for the Ferns. Pritchard
did very well then, up against 5 gold shirts to get the ball down and bring her teammates into play, but there's just what Grace Gill has said. Once again, it's turned over way too quickly. Hunter back to Chinema. Jones, Ilioski had pulled wide, but Jones went down the middle. And there's a very firm challenge in the middle of the park by Vandermeer. Ingham plays it forward. Picked off by Jones again. Ferris. Galich. And it's her turn to be caught dawdling. Wilford Carroll with a tackle. And then a loose one. The Costa Rican Women's Under-20 World Cup. The official draw for that will take place in San Jose at the Teatro Nacional on the 5th of May. There'll be 32 matches across 2 host cities from August the 10th to the 28th. Both these sides will be there. Still waiting on a couple of spots to be filled by the South American qualification process, which incidentally started today or tomorrow, depending on the time zone. Not really sure what the time zone is. 6th of April. That ricochet, Pritchard will chase it, but Lincoln will get it. Australia and New Zealand's already through, of course. Japan, South Korea, Ghana, Nigeria, Canada, USA, Mexico, France, Germany, Netherlands and Spain joining the hosts Costa Rica. Should be a cracking tournament, that one. Worth seeking out. Here's Ilioski. She wants to throw. She's not going to get it. Thought it took a nick off of Ingham. And was disappointed in the outcome. Something about World Cup tournaments, isn't it? No matter what the level, Grace, no matter if it's futsal, football, wherever it might be.
No, that's right. I think it's the prestige around a World Cup tournament and just the time in which they come around. Teams work so hard to be a part of that.
Here's Johnson. Good pace and strength. And she's still going, Carly Johnson, and in the end just kicked the ball into her right foot. Of course, the Para Matildas will be at the World Cup as well soon, and every dollar from every ticket, there's $1 from every ticket sold at the Senior Matildas games will go towards funding their progress. Even more reason to go out and support the Matildas. Help support the Para Matildas in the process. Coached by our very own Kelly Sturton here from Canberra, and she's very much looking forward to that tournament. Had their first camp last week.
Oh, it's a brilliant opportunity for the Para Matildas and Kelly Sturton to lead that side. Just such an exciting prospect for the team to go away and compete in international football, and so well deserved too.
Taylor thumps that one forward. Not too much accuracy in it. Into the final 10 minutes of the first half. A first half in which the scoreline favours the Young Matildas, and in the main they've been the better of the two sides, but there's been opportunities for the visitors from New Zealand. It's a nice ball forward for Gallagher. Johnson's made the run inside, but I think it's too heavy. Edwards read the intention.
Yeah, not a bad idea there by Gallagher and Johnson. I think she just hesitated on that run through, but Edwards did well to come out off her line and collect.
Who's impressed you so far, Grace, in the opening 35 minutes or so?
Yeah, it's been pretty lively from the Young Matildas. I did mention earlier, but I think Galich is one that I hadn't seen a great deal of in terms of her football, and she's combined really well with Sarah Hunter, who has been lively through the midfield as well. She's a really promising young player, so I'm enjoying watching her grow into the game.
Be interesting to see on Sunday how different it is in the makeup in terms of numbers and also in the terms of the tactics used. Obviously they would have seen each other and studied the video of this one in between times. It's the beauty of a two-game series. Jacobs, Wilfred Carroll hunted down by Sarah Hunter. Johnson wins it. Galich, Johnson, Gallagher made a super run to the left. It's broken for Dos Santos anyway. Up against Catherwood. And she's done it for the cross. Chinema looks for Rue. Because Rue's done plenty of work in the front third this evening already. As is the want of a modern fullback these days. Expected to be able to get up and down, Grace.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for Kush LaRue, she hasn't played a great deal of football, as she didn't get too many minutes with the Wellington Phoenix throughout the A-League women's campaign, so I imagine she'd be training hard and bringing herself back up to match fitness, and certainly the opportunity this evening to play for the Young Matildas is one that I'm sure she'll be relishing.
Van der Meer was caught by Gallagher. There is Galich nipping in, and off she goes. Chance for Daniela Galich, fires it goalwards, and Edwards misjudged it, and that's the goal that the performance of Daniela Galich in this first half has very much deserved. The Matildas go 3 to the good.
And that's a beautiful strike there from Daniela Galich, and I mentioned just moments ago she's been building into this half and she's been looking really lively, really energetic on the ball. I think Brie Edwards might have just lost sight of that through a couple of bodies, but it was a great finish nonetheless, and really well deserved.
Daniela Galich on the score sheet. The Young Matildas 3 up here at Deakin Stadium, and good value for it as well. Almost the perfect first half for Leah Blaney and her team. It's Chinema when you consider the players that aren't in the squad tonight or aren't involved for a variety of reasons, Grace, it's a very strong group.
Oh, look, it absolutely is. It's a wonderful young Matildas side, and yeah, we did see in the press release today that a number of them under COVID protocols means they can't be playing tonight, whether or not they're able to be fit and healthy to play on Sunday. But there's just such class in this young Matildas team, and the depth of the squad we're seeing tonight, because there's so many girls who are unavailable and will come into this side on Sunday, we hope to see.
And you know better than me, but I think that's a testament to the quality of the Liberty Women's A-League and having that competition now that gives the younger players a chance to play competitively at a decent level. And we saw a lot of them this year, a lot of young players coming through and staking their claim in that competition. And superb advert for the game, which is what we're getting this evening. And whilst in international friendlies, Grace, as the result is important, there'll be plenty of things that both these coaches will be looking at and going, well, we want to win, but if we don't, but there's still plenty of things we can take out of this. As Gallagher looks to flick it over the top. And there's an opportunity for another one, and Gallagher's got in, and it's not too far away. Got there ahead of Edwards. Couldn't quite direct it goalwards.
Yeah, not a bad look there for the young Matilda. Sheridan Gallagher getting herself in good positions, and a cheeky little cross too from Carly Johnson. She did well to keep that one in, but Gallagher just couldn't quite redirect that on target.
They've persisted with playing out from the back as well, even though the young Matilda's press has been very good in that final third. Chinnaman looking to pick the pass down the middle for Hunter. Superb turn away from Taylor. Jones offering support. Hunter. Ilioski's gone in behind. Good ball to find a two. And look for the first time pass for Gallagher. She's going to get a second chance here, perhaps to load something in the penalty area here. Emma Ilioski elects to go the long way round and wins the team a corner.
It's really well defended there by Marissa Vandermeer, and she's arguing that she didn't get a touch on that one, but we just see moments ago the industry out of Sarah Hunter, her ability to take a touch under pressure, turn out, find that early switch out to Emma Ilioski on her favoured left foot.
And she will be tasked again with the set piece. She's delivered some really good ones. Got a crowded scene in there, 4 players in a line. And there will be another corner. Haven't got any stats up here today, but that's a lot to not many.
We're keeping count, Russ.
They're keeping count back in the production room, I think. Hunter again. This one deeper towards the far post. And that was a chance.
Yeah, Carly Johnson, she's got to do better with that header there. Essentially, an uncontested header. Didn't have anyone put in any amount of pressure on her, but another good delivery into the box from Sarah Hunter on that corner.
And here they go again with the short goal kick, and Johnson's closed it down very quickly. Persistent. This time Edwards goes long. Ingham wins the header and will chase her own flick on. Ilioski's rapid though. Ferris plays it forward, and it's been picked off in the middle of the park by Duncan. One back though by Hunter, showing that industry that Grace Gill spoke about. Here's Lancaster, and she goes for goal from distance. Lancaster, oh, that's stunning! What a hit from Charlotte Lancaster. The Junior Football Ferns are on the board in a big way. Brilliant goal.
That is a beautiful strike there from Charlotte Lancaster. What a hit on her left foot too. She is a left footer, but that's a wonderful finish. She's seen Chloe Lincoln just off her line and managed to find the back of the net there. Of course, Charlotte Lancaster, who moonlights as a goalkeeper herself. We saw her in the Liberty A-League season. She was named and listed as the backup goalkeeper for the Phoenix when they were unable to sign a replacement goalkeeper. But what a strike.
She gave us a warning of it earlier in the half from that left-footed effort out wide when she was flagged offside, but that is a brilliant goal. No two ways about it. Charlotte Lancaster and the Football Ferns on the board.
Well, she's a naturally left-footed player, so she's taken that on her strong foot, and that's a really fantastic finish.
Probably greeted with some celebration across the Tasman.
Understandably so too.
We've got a round of applause from the parochial home crowd here as well, didn't they? That's how good it was. There's a glimmer here for the Junior Football Ferns. We did mention that they've been looking lively in the final third when they do get the ball. We're going to get a minute of time added on. Here's Vandermeer. Looking to lift it through.
There'll be 1 minute of action at a time.
Vandermeer again. Ending the half strongly. And Gallagher can pick this up and drive forward. Johnson's ahead of her, as she has been for most of the evening. And Carly Johnson will fancy her chances running at Jacobs and clipping it towards Dos Santos.
That's a good run in there from Johnson as well. Looking really powerful and confident to back herself 1v1 against her defender. It's a good bit of play.
It's been a good half all round. The Football Ferns have got their goal, and the Young Matildas have 3, undeservedly so. And referee Anna-Marie Kiki brings the half to a close. Great, and a half in which Leah Blaney, I think, will be very happy with the majority of it. She'll be disappointed that they've conceded right on half-time there, but that's something for Gemma Lewis and her team to actually take into the half-time break as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty for both Leah Blaney and Gemma Lewis to take away from that first 45 minutes and build upon into the second half. But some really promising signs, particularly from the Young Matildas.
Yeah, I hope you're enjoying the coverage here live on Bar TV Sports. Goals from Janaya Dos Santos, Sarah Hunter from the penalty spot, and Daniela Galic had the Young Matildas 3 to the good, and then that stunning effort from Charlotte Lancaster has left the half-time score here at Deakin Stadium in this Junior Youth International. The CommBank Young Matildas 3, the Junior Football Ferns 1.
In action against traditional rivals New Zealand. It's a world-class finish, a world-class play.
To Gilnick, and it's in! Emily Gilnick gives Australia the lead before half-time.
Oh, Katie Bowen does, and that's in the back of the net for New Zealand.
Hayley Razzo, what a return!
think the best thing about playing the Football Ferns is that we have so much history with them. It's so lovely to be so close and to be able to play them in Australia after such a hard couple of years. It's also such a historic moment as we're about to embark on the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup, which will make it the most historic game in the lead up to. These games in Canberra are super important for the Matildas, although I won't be there, and it's quite a devastating story for me. I'm so excited for Lydia Williams to be able to come home and play in front of her friends and family. So good luck, girls, and can't wait to watch you play.
So welcome back to Deakin Stadium. I'm Russ Gibbs. Joining me here, Grace Gillis, she did for commentary in the first half. Grace, great first half. Enjoyed that, didn't we? Plenty of goalmouth action, plenty of talent on display.
Yeah, really entertaining first half of football for me. We spoke about the quality that we see on both the Junior Football Ferns, the Young Matildas, the familiar faces that we know from the Liberty A-League, and to see it sort of in the flesh here tonight, it was a really promising first 45 minutes.
And it's the first of a couple of games here in Canberra. We've got the follow-up game for this one at Viking Park on Sunday afternoon, the second of the CommBank Young Matildas series against the Football Ferns. And of course next Tuesday, the 12th of April, the Matildas are in town playing New Zealand, and it's the first time since this little bit of memorabilia here, the Centenary Cup from Sunday 16th of June 2013. The last time the Matildas were in town, some big names in this match programme. Sam Kerr was here then, and Lisa Keller-Knight, Michelle Heyman was in her prime as well. And yes, great to see the Matildas back, and we're looking forward to that match. And they start off against the Football Ferns on Friday.
On Friday in Townsville to begin with, but of course Canberra is just such a football-loving community. To have the Matildas back here playing on Canberra soil, I hope we get a really, really good turnout. And in terms of having the players like Sam, Steph Catley, Lydia Williams, a Canberra girl, back in Canberra in front of a home crowd, I'm just so excited for it.
Yeah, and I hope everybody's excited, and you can get your tickets for that one already. And of course, as I mentioned in the commentary, if you were listening in the first half, $1 from every ticket sold will go towards the Para Matildas World Cup campaign as well. And of course, it's the first time that the Matildas have been in action since the Women's Asian Cup, when they had that disappointing quarter-final loss.
Yeah, really tough for the Matildas to be able to come back from that, but this is an opportunity for them to do so, to rebuild a very similar squad. We see the inclusion of both Katrina Gorry back in and Alex Chidiak as well, who had a wonderful A-League women's campaign, so really deserved call-ups for both of those women. Great to see Katrina Gorry with her baby Harper as well in camp too, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what those two midfielders can do and create and turn around that result in the Asian Cup that we saw.
Yeah, and it's not just about the Matildas either, is it? Because the Football Ferns have got 2 matches here to actually work towards something as well, and to be able to gel as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. And for head coach of the Football Ferns, Jitka Klimkova, Canberra community is familiar with her, being a former Canberra United coach as well. It's a great opportunity for them too. International football is just so important for these teams to be playing, to be getting match minutes, and just getting that international experience under their belt.
But back to this one, that's for them. This is now, and we're watching the Young Matildas, and it's been a great first half in terms of the action that we spoke about. Noticeable that the press has been really good in the final third, but New Zealand keep persisting with that short goal kick. Is it something you think that they'll change for the second half?
Yeah, look, I think they'll have to have a talk about it. I know Gemma Lewis likes to play a high attacking kind of style of play, and certainly that's what she's putting on the Matildas, but similarly Leah Blaney has got the Young Matildas pressing their goal kick really high, and there seems to be a lot of turnover in the midfield particularly for the Junior Football Ferns, so I'm sure they'll be having to talk about at the moment around how to maintain and retain some better possession into the next 45 minutes and look to go forward a bit more effectively.
And we saw Daniela Galic, Sarah Hunter and Hannah Jones really playing well in midfield, but we also saw the same for the Football Ferns as well. They turned over a lot of ball too. Do you think that will be where Leah Blaney will be disappointed with anything in the first half, if she is?
Yeah, look, I think Leah, sort of knowing her as a coach, she will be disappointed. She'll want to see more from the group of girls and sort of tidy up some of those losses of possession, tidy up some of those passes, some of those simple things, and decision making. And when you get a group together, haven't been together for a great deal, it's some of those familiarities with each other that you don't necessarily have straight away. So for the first 45 minutes for this group to be playing an international match, there's some really promising signs, but I'm sure there's a lot she's wanting to see improvements on as well.
Yeah, ironically, the best chance perhaps in the first half, and definitely the best save in the first half, was at the other end. Ava Pritchard was through on goal, and Chloe Lincoln, as you said, 17 years old, stood strong and made a tremendous save.
Yeah, absolutely. Ava Pritchard, she will be kicking herself for that one. That had to be a finish, and at that point the Young Matildas were up just 1-0, so it was going to be an equaliser if so. Ava Pritchard, she's a wonderful young player, but but equally Chloe Lincoln is a spectacular goalkeeper. So unsurprising for me to see her make that save, but it was a great opportunity for the Ferns.
At 3-0, the game's almost dead and buried. But that goal from Charlotte Lancaster just before half-time has changed the complexion slightly.
It has. It sprung a little bit of life back into them. A really good point for them to score a goal. So half-time break, refresh the legs, refresh, get the heart rate back down and look to go again for another 45 minutes.
And we will bring you that second 45 minutes. We're just going to have a little bit of a break and try and get the vocal cords back in action as well. Stay tuned, though, for the second half here as the Junior Football Ferns look to find a way back into the contest. At the break here, it's 3-1 to the Young Matildas.
In action against traditional rivals New Zealand. It's a world-class finish from a world-class play.
In the back of the net for New Zealand.
Hayley Razzo, what a return! And Fowler in the back of the net, and it's 2 for Australia.
I think the best thing about playing the Football Ferns is that we have so much history with them. It's so lovely to be so close and to be able to play them in Australia after such a hard couple of years. It's also such a historic moment as we're about to embark on the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup, which will make it the most historic game in the lead up to. These games in Canberra are super important for the Matildas, although I won't be there and it's quite a devastating story for me. I'm so excited for Lydia Williams to be able to come home and play in front of her friends and family. So good luck, girls, and can't wait to watch you play.
So welcome back to Deakin Stadium. Hope you enjoyed your half-time. We're still here, myself and Grace Gill. Looking forward to the second half, and a second half of which we mentioned during the half-time break, of course. Grace, at 3-0 it was the Young Matildas who perhaps were feeling comfortable, but if the Football Ferns score next, then we've definitely got a game on our hands.
Yeah, absolutely, and that goal from Charlotte Lancaster really just spurred a little bit of life back into the Junior Football Ferns, and they were playing with a little bit more energy after that goal, and certainly a little bit more confidence too, which is important going into this next 45 minutes.
And I'm sure we're going to see a raft of changes, which will be confirmed by the fourth official when they rejoin us. I would hope. Alyssa Wynnham's out there, though, I can see. And it looks like Ella Tonkin might be coming on for the Young Matildas as well. So the two number 10s are going to join the action, Grace.
And of course we saw Alyssa Wynnham's breakout season with the Wellington Phoenix too, and she had a wonderful campaign. As we know, she was the last player signed for the Wellington Phoenix, and then went on to have just a wonderful season with them and really establish herself and grow in confidence as the year wore on.
So the Gemma Farris is off, and Ella Tonkin has come on wearing the number 10 jersey for the first of the changes, and then there's a whole raft of New Zealand changes coming on here. This is going to be fun, Grace. Jana Niedermeyer, Alyssa Wynnum, Zoe McMeekin and Millie Clegg have all come on. Ava Pritchard's gone off as the first of those changes. Millie Clegg will replace her up top. We'll wait to confirm the other ones for you as and when the fourth official does them. But lots of changes, Grace, and as we expected.
Yeah, absolutely. These international friendlies are a really great way to experiment with players, get some good minutes into their legs, and especially with another game just on Sunday, a relatively quick turnaround. Both teams will be looking to play around with some of these players.
It was the first chance of the second half. The strike was from Millie Clegg. We're just going to make sense of all these changes. Zoe McMeekin's come on at full-back, I think, for Gemma Catherwood. Chloe Bellamy's been replaced by Alyssa Wynnum.
And Millie Clegg, who has come on for Ava Pritchard, as you mentioned there, Russ, a really exciting young player. I'm told she's lightning quick. She's played a lot of her football growing up with boys and really only just quite recently has moved into women's senior football. So a really good transition for her to try and step into senior women's football, try and establish herself on this junior football Fern side.
Yeah, so the Football Ferns look like they've got Edwards in goal. Vandermeer, Niedermeyer, Taylor and McMeekin across the back. Duncan, Wilfred, Carroll and Wynnum now the midfield three. Clegg, Ingham and Lancaster. That's the 11 on the park. And they're defending at the moment, as Carly Johnson looks to take on Vandermeer. Still going, Johnson swings it into the air. Sheridan Gallagher has a air swing, and McMeekin can bring it away with her first involvement. And again, they've turned it over in a dangerous area. Here's Galich looking for Johnson. Couldn't get away from Taylor. So some familiar names come off the bench, and some unfamiliar ones as well. We saw McMeekin and Wynnum quite a lot last season. Alyssa Wynnum was one of the standout performers in the Liberty Women's A-League. She looks like she's gone through the middle. Up front. We will see. Here's Kushler-Roo, rather. So just the four changes at the half-time for the Junior Football Ferns. One for Australia. We haven't really mentioned that. I said Ella Tonkin has come on for Gemma Ferris. Here's Chinema. Tonkin plays it wide. Ilioski can go forward. Gallagher came deep to collect. Galich has found Ilioski, and she's put Johnson away down the middle, but the flag will go up. And Carly Johnson is stopped in her tracks. Unsurprising that Gemma Lewis will empty the bench, Grace, and I expect we'll see a couple more before the end.
Yeah, as I mentioned with the game as well on Sunday, unsurprising to see a few changes and just playing around with a few different combinations and giving girls some senior football opportunity at this under-20s level. And a lot of these girls, either it's their first national team call-up or they've had some time with the under-17 football Ferns. So this is quite a step up for a number of them, and the pace is faster and sort of the physicality is there, and it's a different level, so it's a really great opportunity having these international matches.
There's Wynnum twisting and turning on the edge of the box, just ran out of space in which to create anything. Sarah Hunter was beaten to it. And Jonah Niedermeyer was there in midfield. Chinema finds Hunter, looking for Johnson, who's threatened sporadically to get in behind this Junior Football Ferns back four. And no doubt before the night's out she'll get one right.
Yeah, she's really asking the question there, looking for the runs through the defensive line, and Sarah Hunter looking to try and string that ball through. Where, remember as well, Sarah Hunter played with a class side at Sydney FC and played with some very experienced players in that front line. So she plays a different role in this Young Matildas team, a more experienced leadership type of role, and now has to step into that position and how she leads the Young Matildas, as opposed to being one of the younger girls at Sydney FC, but now how she steps up into this position.
Wilfred Carroll sent the goal scorer Lancaster scampering down the left flank, and she's cut inside with that right foot as well. Didn't quite get the heat she got on the one that she scored just before half time, but a nice little move to start the second half.
As I mentioned, Lancaster does have a preferred left foot there, and you could see just the hesitation on her right. Did get the shot away, but definitely not with the potency that she's got behind that left foot for sure.
And the press this time comes from those in black. And they've earned themselves a throw. It's Vandermeer. Wilfred Carroll. Wanted Millie Clegg to make the run, but the Auckland United striker had come short. So it doesn't look like it's much in the way of a change of formation, does it to you, Grace, for the Football Ferns?
Yeah, look, nothing particularly apparent early, just those personnel changes that we did mention, bringing some fresh legs on, seeing if they can inject a little bit of energy to the side, and I'm sure Gemma Lewis isn't going to stray away from this high energetic kind of game she likes to play.
Here goes Johnson, and she's got the pace to get away. This is a foot race. Carly Johnson, but she was brilliantly held up by Marissa Vandermeer, who did just enough to put off the Sydney striker.
That was really well defended there by Vandermeer. Was able to just keep her check alongside Carly Johnson and put enough pressure on Johnson to put her off the shot. That was a great bit of individual defending.
Wynnum finds McMeekin. Duncan's come square. Bright opening to the second half. You're watching international football on Bar TV Sports. Thanks to Bar TV Sports for bringing us this coverage in association with Football Australia. You can see the match from Viking Park live as well on these very channels. So it's good to be able to bring these games to people who can't come here, Grace, of course, and to those over the sea. Here's Johnson. Going to stretch her legs again. Carly Johnson, get it on that right foot. Wasn't too far away, was dipping, but just at the wrong moment for Carly Johnson.
Well, Johnson is certainly asking a few questions of this Football Ferns defensive line. She's looking really lively through the middle of the park there. She's trying to get a shot away. Can't quite get the shot on target or on frame, but she's certainly pushing, putting a whole lot of pressure on this young defensive Ferns line there.
And that's them playing out from the back again, which they did quite well on that occasion, only for Kush LaRue to stop it. It's nice to see a side trying to play football, even though it gives you palpitations, I guess, sometimes. Here's Johnson, goes down to the challenge. That will be the second penalty of the evening. Kate Taylor, this one, committing the foul, and again, little choice for the referee but to point to the spot.
Yeah, Kate Taylor, unfortunately, on that occasion, just leaving a bit too much of a leg in and makes an easy call for a penalty there. Disappointingly for the Football Ferns, but that's the right decision. It looks like Johnson will step up on this occasion to try and slot this one home.
Yeah, she's gone close on a couple of occasions, Carly Johnson, and she wasn't going to pass this one over to anybody else. Centre forward fancies an international goal for the second time this evening. Bree Edwards faces up to a penalty, this time Carly Johnson from the spot, and a chance to restore the CommBank Young Matildas 3-goal cushion. It's Johnson up against Edwards, and it's beautifully taken, confidently finished by Carly Johnson, and the CommBank Young Matildas go 4-1 ahead.
That's a really neatly taken penalty there by Carly Johnson. A very similar penalty to that of Sarah Hunter's, but that's really well deserved. She's been working hard this game and been looking for a goal. It came through a penalty, but that was a really well, neatly slotted home penalty by Johnson.
Good start to the second half then for the home side, who've managed to get that 3-goal advantage back fairly quickly. And it did come, Grace, from a turnover of possession when the Football Ferns are playing out from the back again. It's happened a couple of times this evening, but they've stuck to their laurels and they've stuck to their game plan.
Wilfred Carroll in there for the Junior Football Ferns, starting to get a little bit more involved, which is really great to see in the midfield, looking for the ball, looking to get on the ball. A Wellington girl who's moved up to be part of the Future Ferns program in Auckland, and yeah, just looking to get herself a little bit more involved in the game, which is really great to see as a midfielder there.
Johnson battling away again. She's won it again. Chance for Johnson to go at the defence once more. This time the challenge is well timed by Wilfred Carroll. And is that the first smatterings of rain I can feel, Grace Gill?
I think it might be, Russ. Just a light drop of rain here to quicken things up here on the pitch out at Deakin Stadium. Certainly the wind is picking up a little bit and temperatures just slightly starting to drop.
Certainly bring the coats out on the gantry here, wouldn't it? And maybe the umbrellas as well. We are very much in the open at Deakin Stadium. And loving every minute of it, have to be honest. Here's Johnson, she's got in again. Chance for her second. Carly Johnson hits the post. The rebound for Gallagher, who's saved brilliantly by Edwards. First the post denies Australia, then the brilliance of Edwards.
Well, that initial intervention there from Kate Taylor was just perfectly timed. She had to get a tackle away, and she did just that. We saw her do that time and time again with the Wellington Phoenix throughout the Liberty A-League. And on that second follow-up shot, Gallagher, it was a great side-footed shot, but nothing but the post stopping that one going in, and a great bit of goalkeeping as well by Bree Edwards.
On her toes again, the cue of Young Matildas around the penalty spot. It ricochets about in the area. Here's Gallagher with the back heel. Oh, that's nonchalant. Absolutely beautiful to watch. Brilliant finish from Sheridan Gallagher. She's got the goal that she's been threatening all evening, and it's 5 up for the Young Matildas.
Number 17, Sheridan Gallagher.
Well, that's a cheeky finish there by Sheridan Gallagher. The back heel to find the back of the net. And the captain for the night has been pushing really hard and looking for a goal of her own. Her work ethic has been there this evening, so it's a well-deserved finish, but a cheeky little back heel to put that one away.
Finally, one of the numerous corners counts. Chaos in the Junior Football Ferns penalty area, and Sheridan Gallagher with a touch of class. And you have to say, much as Galich got the goal, her performance deserved. So is Sheridan Gallagher. And the Football Ferns, in very quick succession, have conceded twice and find themselves staring down the barrel.
Yeah, really important for the Football Ferns that they just tighten things up a little bit, get compact in their shape, just so that defensively they're a little bit more sound, and a bit of frustration perhaps coming in through there in that challenge from Wilfred Carroll on Galich.
Yeah, the referee not having a bar of it. Kept her cards in the pocket tonight, which we'd like to see. Chinema turns away and invites Johnson to chase after that, but as quick as she is, she's not going to keep that one in.
That's a better run there from Johnson. The ball wasn't quite the delivery she was looking for, but she did run off the shoulder there of Taylor and keep herself onside, which we saw on a couple of occasions. She got herself into an offside position, but that was a much better run, if not for the execution from Chinema's delivery.
And there's the defensive side of the game for Naomi Chinema. Wynnum. So 5-1 down, Grace. Do the Junior Football Ferns continue to do what they're doing? Do you think they continue to play the way they're playing, or do you think Gemma Lewis will have a different idea about where to go from here?
Yeah, look, having watched a lot of the Wellington Phoenix and Gemma Lewis's games throughout the A-League women's competition, she won't stray away from her playing style. And
Hunter delivers for Gallagher.
yeah, she was really consistent throughout the season, throughout the campaign, and certainly the Wellington Phoenix girls stayed true to their playing style, and I think that's the exact thing that we're going to see from this Junior Football Ferns side.
We just saw it there, didn't we? Tonkin has the pace to make sure that Clegg can't get on the end of that. This, of course, is a build-up to the Under-20 World Cup in Costa Rica, and that'll be the second time that country has hosted a FIFA tournament. They were in charge of the 2017 Under-17 Women's World Cup, which was won by Japan, and New Zealand played in that tournament. They finished third in Group C. They drew with Paraguay 1-1 and lost 3-0 to Spain and the eventual winners, Japan. You might be able to see some light rain on your screens. Just drifting across the ground from right to left. Good win by Clegg, Lancaster. And the defensive work is done by Kush-LaRue.
Yeah, some good physicality in there by Clegg, coming on and just making herself known. Back there to Kush-LaRue. Was able to win possession back for the Junior Football Ferns up in their final third of the field.
Couldn't quite get the control that Alyssa Wynnum wanted. Is Galich. Hunter. Space to bring it forward. Wilfred Carroll will chase. Hunter allowed to go a long way and then fancies the effort at goal. Not quite the venom of the one that hit two pieces of woodwork in the first half, but a good lung-bursting run nonetheless.
Yeah, really great. A great run in there from Sarah Hunter. I would have liked to see her turn out there and just keep possession. It would have been a pretty special shot to beat Bree Edwards on that occasion.
Well, Jones is about to go a long way herself, and she has a pop at goal from distance. And Edwards not going to be beaten by that. But all of a sudden, there's some big gaps opening up in the New Zealand midfield. And the young Matildas look in the mood to take advantage.
Yeah, certainly. It's that sort of momentum where a team has a really comfortable lead and they start to take a few pot shots from a little further out. You'd like to see Leah Blaney's side continue just to possess the ball.
Here's McMeekin. Made a run forward from her back. Wynnum from full back. Wynnum had found her via the head of Ilioski. The reminder that the senior Matildas are in action in Townsville on Friday and in Canberra on Tuesday. Make sure you buy your tickets and come and support the Matildas against the senior football Ferns. And I'll mention it again, and I won't apologise for it. $1 for every ticket sold goes to the Para Matildas. So make sure you come along and not only watch some top-class international football in Townsville and Canberra, but also support one of our national teams in their World Cup preparations. Here's Chinema. Finds Huntu taking up a quality position there in that pocket of space. Jones. And that's well won in the middle of the park. Well, it seemed to be by Olivia Ingham, but she's been penalised. That Jones-Hunter combination looks quite tasty, doesn't it?
Yeah, the Jones-Hunter-Galich combination has been working really well this evening, and you can see the players are combining very well together, but Football Ferns certainly aren't giving up on that high press we saw moments ago when Chinema had the ball at her feet, and just the pace at which they were closing them down, looking to put pressure on. And the only reason the press broke down there was Duncan was a little far away in the midfield, and it meant that Sarah Hunter could pick the ball up and be that pressure release valve that she has been time and time again this evening for the young Matildas.
Taylor plays it forward. And the ricochet has fallen kindly for Johnson, and here's a chance. Gallagher had made a super run forward, but Galich couldn't find her. Brought forward by Vandermeer. Lancaster. Wilfred Carroll. And Taylor's fouled by Johnson. There's going to be another change here for the Junior Football Ferns as well, as Kate Taylor stays down. Marissa van der Meer evening is over, and Tui Duggan comes on.
Substitute from the New Zealand team. Number 5 comes off, and number 17 comes on.
Tui Duggan plays at football at Arizona State University, and she'll drop in to a more advanced role, it would seem, and Chloe Lancaster appears to have dropped into left back at the moment.
Yeah, Tui Duggan, just a like-for-like change there. Oh no, my apologies, she's pushed up a little further, and she'll bring on some sort of fresh energy. And you mentioned there, playing overseas in the USA, we know that any of the colleges are really physical, and I'm sure she'll be looking to get stuck in.
Chloe Lancaster got stuck in there, showing her versatility by playing further back now. Tui Duggan tasked with taking on Kush LaRue down this flank. Galich robbed in midfield, and then there was a clash between Duncan and Wilford Carroll. They tackled each other. As much as these changes obviously gives everyone minutes, how hard is it, Grace, when you play at this level, if you make 6 or 7 changes, to gel as a unit?
Yeah, certainly it takes a bit of time, a few minutes to settle into a game.
As Johnson just takes over, we'll come back to your point in just a moment. As the Young Matildas go on the attack, and Sarah Hunter's upended by Charlotte Wilford Carroll, and she'll become the first player to go into the book this evening. You can carry on with your point, Grace.
Yeah, just a leg left in there by Wilford Carroll, and Sarah Hunter does well to concede the foul on that occasion. But yeah, certainly, as I was saying, it does take a certain amount of time to settle into a game and to settle into the plays you've got alongside you, and in one of these matches you do see a number of changes, and that's really, you know, international friendlies can be used for that purpose, to try a few variations, combinations with players.
So what are we going to see here? The left of Daniela Galich or the right of Sarah Hunter? Hunter fancies it. Naturally a left-sided player if you're going to go over the wall, you would think, but Hunter seems to have taken charge here. And Brie Edwards has 4 players in the wall in front of her, and will need to be on her toes. It's going to be Hunter, and she bends one over and across, and couldn't quite get the dip she was looking for. Needed to be spot on with that technique to pull that one off.
Yeah, the shape on the free kick was good, but just couldn't quite get, as you mentioned there, Russ, the dip to keep that underneath the frame of the goal.
Definitely got it in her locker though, hasn't she?
Absolutely.
Australia about to bring on Caitlin Carriage in a moment, as Leah Blaney goes to her bench for the second time this evening, wearing the number 9. And the change will be made now, and Janea Dos Santos, who scored the opening goal of the night, and can be pretty proud of her evening's work. It was a cracking shot in off the underside of the bar after only 2 minutes.
Number 8 comes off, and number 9.
Yeah, Dos Santos, a lot to be proud for with her performance tonight, and you can see she's getting the praise, perhaps off screen, from Leah Blaney, complimentary of her performance. But Carriage, a really good young player, debuted this year in the Liberty A-League as well, with a really promising future ahead of her. She's lightning fast and really powerful and aggressive on the ball.
Look forward to seeing her, what she can bring to this outfit. She's slotted into the right of the front 3 at the moment, where Dos Santos was playing. Kush LaRue can go back to Chinema. Tonkin. Gallagher playing as an auxiliary left back at the moment. Galich. Bit of keep ball for the CommBank Young Matildas.
It's good to see players like Ella Tonkin as well back there this year with Adelaide United in the Liberty A-League, and a good opportunity to test herself with the under-20 Matildas.
It's a ball for Wynnum to chase, and there is Tonkin doing the defensive due diligence. Ilioski forward. Turn from Galic. Hunter. Karic wants it played forward. It's between her and Johnson. Pick the gap between both of them, and Katie Taylor defended well.
And off the screen at the moment, Daniela Galic is looking to be in a little bit of grief, just slowing down a bit, whether it's cramp or she just copped a bit of a knock there. But she's put in a wealth of work this evening, so unsurprising to see that she is a bit proppy.
Johnson couldn't keep it in play. No player ever wants to come off, do they? I'm sure she's not going to let the bench know. Enjoying her evening, just stretching it out there. I think you saw on camera, maybe calves are tightening, as you said, Grace. Not surprising, the amount of running she's done in that engine room. Speaking of running, here's Zoe McMeekin bursting forward at the other end, looking for Clegg. Tonkin was there defensively.
And McMeekin was another one who had a wonderful campaign with the Wellington Phoenix, youngest player in the side, and just went from strength to strength throughout the season and built in confidence over the year as the year wore on. So really pleasing to see her with some minutes out here tonight for the Junior Football Ferns.
Johnson stretching her legs and bursting into the area. Chance for Carly Johnson, and she's blazed it high and wide. Just too much power in the shot when perhaps placement was required. But again, showing just how good she is when she can break away.
Well, we're seeing what Carly Johnson can produce, and just sort of how a powerful runner she is at that centre striker position. She's just able to take players on, beat them one-on-one. And if not for just that finishing, getting her shots on target tonight and really looking to challenge Edwards in goal there, we're seeing some really promising stuff from the youngster.
Here's Rue going on that right foot to swing it into the penalty area towards Johnson. Looking at the Australian bench, on the match card they did name Shay Holman, Amy Cesari, Isabel Gomez, Sienna Saveska, Letitia McKenna and goalkeeper Sally James. Not sure how many of them we will actually see tonight. So it's a shortened bench, isn't it? So we might not see Leah Blaney bring them all on. We have got just less than 20 minutes plus stoppage time to play here at Deakin Stadium. From the nation's capital, Canberra. Wynnum, nice turn. Chance to get away here, Alyssa Wynnum, elusive runner. Again though, that was Sarah Hunter doing the defensive work.
That's a good bit of defending rather there from Kate Taylor, who looks like she's going into a little bit of cramp herself, but she's paying some close attention to Carly Johnson, which she needs to. Johnson looking to drop really deep and collect the ball there, and Kate Taylor doing her job and following her in really closely.
And I'm cramping up as well. Just going to say, watching Sarah Hunter tires you out, doesn't it? She's just up and down and backwards and forwards and never looks like she's running out of any energy.
Oh, she's such an industrious player in the midfield there, not only tonight but throughout the Liberty A-League season as well with Sydney FC. She's just got a really incredible engine.
I think everybody would be grateful for this little break, Grace.
The girl's quick to just grab a quick drink. Probably important just to take stock and reset.
As a contest, the game probably was put to bed with those two quick goals, wasn't it? After half-time, the penalty from Carly Johnson and Sheridan Gallagher's cute little backheel finish. But credit to the Junior Football Ferns, they've kept going as well, and we've still got a decent football match to watch.
Yes, certainly, and they haven't backed away from looking to play, as you mentioned as well. Russ, they're looking to keep possession where they can and looking to maintain a really high aggressive press, which we know Gemma Lewis likes her teams to play under that kind of style. So it's a demanding type of football, but you can see in the moments where it does work for the Junior Football Ferns and where they do win possession back.
Tell you what, when players go down with cramp these days, Grace, do you think, oh gosh, here comes the pickle juice? Because Kate Taylor just threw a bottle of it down their throats.
The magical pickle juice.
Followed it up with plenty of water, I hasten to add. Ilioski goes forwards to Gallagher. And it's been a confident and competent display by the Young Matildas. Chloe Lincoln in goal, not had an awful lot to do this half. She'll need to keep her wits about her.
Yeah, look, you have to say Leah Blaney has this Young Matildas side playing a really tidy brand of football. They look to move the ball quickly and switch away from pressure. And there's a lot of promise I'm seeing from this side.
Lancaster's launched that one forward for Millie Clegg to chase. Chinema again. No nonsense defending, but it's definitely solid and it's definitely international quality, isn't it? It's just get rid of it when it needs to be done, play the ball when it's on. Decision making is very good.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I mentioned, she did have a debut season with Melbourne City.
Clegg swings it in, McMeekin sneaks in on the far post, chance on the turn. It might lose for McMeekin again, Lincoln again away. It's a big scramble in the penalty area. Clegg's had a pop as well. I think the original shot came in from Olivia Ingham, which was a super save from Chloe Lincoln amongst all that, and McMeekin couldn't put it in, and that's what I was saying, keeping her wits about her. Lincoln denies Ingham, and then amongst the scramble, the Football Ferns couldn't quite force it home.
Well, you mentioned a few moments ago, Russ, that Chloe Lincoln hasn't had a great deal to do, but when called upon, that's a seriously impressive save.
Up the other end, here's Johnson, held up well, and Gallagher tries something from distance and from range from where Lancaster tried one in the first half. That was Niedermeyer doing enough to put off Johnson, but going back to that save from Chloe Lincoln, like I said, nothing to do, and then super stop out of nothing. And not only that, she recovered well, and McMeekin's half-scuffed effort to punch that clear.
Yeah, really good recovery there from Chloe Lincoln, the 17-year-old. Plays her football here in Canberra with the Canberra United Academy and has just gone from strength to strength, given the opportunity that she did have with Canberra United in this A-League women's season. Yeah,
Keely Richards' untimely injury gave her the opportunity, and she certainly grasped it with both hands. Excuse the pun there. Terrible one, I know.
That's awful.
Wasn't, I didn't mean it. As I was saying it, I was thinking, that's terrible, don't say that, but then I did, so...
No, but you're right, she has made the most of this opportunity, Chloe Lincoln. A really unfortunate injury to Keely Richards, who was in fantastic form herself. But Lincoln, as a second goalkeeper, you've got to step up into those moments, and she's done so and been rewarded with a call up into the Young Matildas camp.
Yeah, and a long career ahead of her. Goalkeepers can go forever. Turn from Galich, finds Hunter, picking spaces in the middle of the park there. Wilfred Carroll, who's been neat and tidy in the centre of the park for the visiting side. Feeling the pace of it now, though, I think, the midfielder. As we approach the last 10 minutes of the encounter. It's a chase for Niedermeyer. She's done well to find McMeekin. Swings it in towards Clegg. Might come on the far post for Duggan. Just couldn't get her toe on it. Tui Duggan. That's ricocheted off Carriage, rather kindly for Wynnum. And here's space for Hunter, and that's a dangerous thing. Plenty of Football Ferns shirts back, though. That's good recovery from Gemma Lewis's squad.
Another occasion there, though, we've seen Sarah Hunter able to pick the ball up in the middle of the park, pretty unopposed, and if I'm an opposition player or coach there, she's pulling all the strings this evening for the Young Matildas, Hunter, and you really need to look to close her down and try and stop some of that gameplay that comes out of Hunter, because as we've seen tonight, it's really all through the middle of the park there, and she's controlling so much of what's happening for the Young Matildas tonight.
I think tactically, from a pleasing point of view for Leah Blaney as well, Grace, if it's not Sarah Hunter doesn't get you in that spot, Hannah Jones will, and if not her, Daniela Galich will. And you mentioned that triumvirate that have been dominant in this performance for the Young Matildas, and if they can keep that together or keep building on that, then it's something to behold, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, Russ, and we've mentioned as well the players unavailable tonight, so there's so much more depth to come into this side too, as the Young Matildas are gearing up for another couple of changes here on the sideline just off camera.
Going to see 2 changes. Galich is going to come off. And she has had a terrific 80 minutes or so. And Sarah Hunter will come as well. So that midfield, 2 of the midfield 3 are going to take a break. And you can't blame them. Job done as far as Sarah Hunter and Daniela Galich are concerned.
That's a great shift by both the girls there, putting a huge amount of run in. Sarah Hunter, as I just mentioned, pulling all the strings for the Young Matildas tonight, and Daniela Galich, been really pleasing to see a young emerging footballer, and she's got to my mind, a really promising future ahead of her.
Shay Holman and Amy Cesari come into the middle of the park to stake their claim for some minutes, and they'll bring energy and enthusiasm as well, no doubt.
Well, Holman, we saw appear this year for Sydney FC in the Liberty A-League Women's, wasn't a mainstay part of the side, and understandably so, just given some of the quality in that Sydney FC Premiership winning side, that she really had to battle for any amount of appearances.
Is Clegg, one of the Football Ferns subs, swings it in looking for Ingham. But Meekin up in support as well, but defensively, that's Sheridan Gallagher all the way back there helping out.
The other player we just saw come on as well, Amy Cesari, a young midfielder. She was actually a training player with the Western Sydney Wanderers throughout the season, and spending some time with the Institute Football New South Wales. So again, another really young quality player.
We're going to get about 10 minutes plus stoppage time to show us what they can do. More importantly, show Leah Blaney what they can do in terms of playing on an international park.
Fortunately, the rain is holding off here at Deakin Stadium, but the wind is starting to pick up and is blowing across.
Of course, I mentioned a lot earlier in this broadcast, Grace, about this being the first competitive match for this team since the under-19s, and whilst some of these would have played at junior level as well, your first cap at this level is a hugely important milestone.
Oh, absolutely, and it's sort of an opportunity to be noticed for your national team, and I'm sure Jitka Klimkova, as the head coach of the Football Ferns, has a close eye on these matches too, and I'm sure she's communicating regularly with Gemma Lewis and Nat Lawrence, and it's a tight-knit community, so good performances at a junior level can see selection in the senior squad. So these international matches are just excellent for both the Football Ferns and the Young Matildas.
We saw Tom Samani earlier as well, didn't we? A legend of women's football across Australia and New Zealand.
We did indeed. Tommy Samani make an appearance here tonight too in Canberra.
Helping out with the Junior Football Ferns is Johnson stealing the ball away, and off she goes running again. Karich in support if she wants her. Johnson might fancy it herself. Shepherded wide nicely. Swung into the middle by Ilioski. But drop here for Holman. Tees one up for Cesari, who goes for goal. Couldn't trouble Bree Edwards. More changes from the Junior Matildas on the way. Letitia McKenna is coming on, as is Isabel Gomez. They will get a couple of minutes, or 6 minutes plus at the end of the half. Here's Tui Duggan for the Junior Football Ferns, and Kushla Roo sticks to her task, as she's done all evening, with mighty fine performance from the fullback. The changes here for the Young Matildas. In fact, it's going to be Sienna Saveska, in fact, who's coming on for Sheridan Gallagher.
That's a good shift this evening there by Sheridan Gallagher, leading her side. She put in some good defensive work as well towards the latter end of the match, and Sienna Saveska replacing her. She was also a training player throughout the year with the Wellington Phoenix, but spends most of her time at the Football New South Wales Institute. But a class young lefty coming into the fray.
And Isabel Gomez has come on as well for Hannah Jones. So plenty of changes now for this last few minutes of the encounter.
Well, Isabel Gomez and Hannah Jones, teammates at Wellington Phoenix, and we did see Gomez with a number of starts for the Phoenix, so great for her to get an opportunity this evening too.
Cesari looks for a through ball for Johnson, picked off by Taylor. Ilioski. Gomez's first involvement. Rue's ball forward. Too much pace on it for Caitlin Carriage. But as we come to the final 5 minutes of this one, Grace, it's been a good hit out for both teams, hasn't it? And I think I'll ask you this in a second, as here's Johnson, and she's in on goal here. Real chance for Carly Johnson if she tees it up on that right foot, and a super bit of defending once again by Jana Niedermeyer.
It's great defending there by Niedermeyer, and she needed to intervene on that one. Johnson probably held on to that shot just for a moment too long and allowed Niedermeyer to get across and get a tackle in, but we see another set piece for the young Matildas that have been so effective for them this evening.
They've gone short with it, and it's swung towards the far post. Nobody in a gold shirt on the end of that one as the breeze picks up, and it's getting a bit chilly here in the nation's capital. As you'd expect. It gets worse in July, doesn't it? Try standing up on here, commentating on you, Grace, in the middle of July, as you bang in your 30th goal of the season.
Ross, stop that.
Taylor brings it forward. Clegg's been a willing runner since she's come on, and there's a cramp in the calf for Chinema. You could see it as she stretched, couldn't you?
Yeah, you see the moment she stretched out for that one, and it is a relief to see when you know that it's a cramp and nothing more sinister there. Chinema just reaching out for that one and looking like her calf has just started to cramp up, but understandably so. She's put in a really good shift tonight and done a lot of hard running.
And that's what I was going to ask you just before Carly Johnson's chance there. I mean, everyone out there has performed really, really well, but for you on both sides, which have been the standout players? Not to put you on the spot, you can have a moment to think about it if you like.
Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier for the young Matildas, I think Sarah Hunter really does pull the strings in this side, and it's her industry and her work rate on the ball that really stood out for me. But as I mentioned a couple of times already, the unknown in my eyes of Daniela Galich is a player I haven't seen a great deal of, and I think she looks like she's got a lot to offer and a really great future ahead of her. But a lot of really promising performances tonight, and for the Phoenix, they've probably been...
The Phoenix?
Apologies. My apologies. For the Junior Football Ferns, comprised of a number of quality Phoenix players.
I knew what you meant.
Yes, thank you. They've probably been a little bit more suffocated in their time on the ball and have done a lot more defending and had to absorb a lot of pressure. But, Kate Taylor on a couple of occasions, again, has stood up and been pretty impressive. And Lancaster as well has been really quality on the left side, and her goal especially was pretty spectacular.
Well, if you've enjoyed watching the match tonight, you can tune in on Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoff for the second of the CommBank Young Matildas International Series against the Junior Football Ferns from Viking Park. 2 o'clock, myself and Grace Gill will take you through that one as well. Even better, if you're in the Canberra area, why not come down and watch it? It's free entry, 2 p.m. kickoff on a Sunday afternoon in Canberra. Should be a nice occasion, and Viking Park, as you know, from the Liberty A-League, if you watch that with Canberra United, is a wonderful venue to watch from. Here's Johnson looking to add some gloss to the scoreline. Plenty of shirts in support, but can't force the ball past McMeekin. Wynnum picks it up, and Ilioski does the defensive work. Looking forward to that as well. Should be great. And then, of course, as I said, throughout this broadcast, the Senior Matildas in action from Townsville on Friday, and on Tuesday in Canberra. Get down and support your Matildas. Through ball is looking for Carriage. Left that a bit short. As well picked off by Tui Duggan. Wilford Carroll just helps it on its way, but there was no one there anticipating that pass, and Kush LaRue. Carriage, that's nicely done. Holman plays it forward, and Johnson's broken the offside trap here. Might have to go all on her own, and Kate Taylor does the defensive work that we come to expect from the New Zealand skipper. Half a minute to go, plus stoppage time, of which we'll find out how much there will be very shortly.
But Johnson's just been such a willing runner up front for the Young Matildas tonight, and I think it was Niedermeyer on that occasion that had just kept her onside. But she's been relentless in looking for the ball and looking to get herself forward.
Chinema fully recovered from that cramp on the calf. Lancaster, who despite the scoreline tonight will have the memory of that quite wonderful goal she scored a couple of minutes before half time, into the first, as you can see, of 3 minutes of time added on. Chinema plays it forward. Gomez is robbed in midfield by Duncan, looking for Wynnum. Tonkin steps out from defence to tidy up. That's neatly done by Rue, and confident from the Young Matildas. Been playing in a great spirit, this one as well, hasn't it? Only the one card.
Yeah, it's been a really neat game for the most part. And you've mentioned that, yeah, played in a really lovely spirit. I think just the opportunity between Leah Blaney and Gemma Lewis to test their two sides against each other is really wonderful for these two teams.
I mentioned it played in good spirits, and there's a card. As soon as you say that, that's the curse of the commentator, isn't it? If ever I've seen it, Kate Duncan becomes the second football fern to see yellow. We will go back for the free kick. It's been a good evening here, and it's been a good crowd. There's plenty on the main stand on the far side, and some hardy souls out here in the open on our side. Tonkin plays it forward. Gomez drives at the heart of the defence. Cesaria played it out wide, but McMeekan was there. Here's Wynnum. Dancing feet. It's a foul on the back of Wilfred Carroll by Holman. Plenty to take from this match from both teams, but it's the Young Matildas who are going to come out on top, and that's been very much evident since, I think, the third goal went in from Daniela Galic in the first half, despite the best efforts of the Football Ferns, who've more than played their part in this international here in Canberra. Lincoln rather sliced across that one, but it's going to fall for Cesari, the wind playing its part. Well won by Tui Duggan. Not stopped running since she's come on either. Ingham to Duggan. Rather fizzed that one at Wynnum. Not sure it was intended for Wynnum. And Gomez, one last run perhaps for Johnson to get away from Taylor, who stretches her right foot out, and Edwards goes a long way from home to clear. Been a great battle, that Johnson and Kate Taylor, isn't it, throughout the 90 minutes?
Oh, it's been a great match-up this evening between the two players, and again there, Kate Taylor with a last-ditch effort to deny another great run from Carly Johnson, who's just looked so energetic this evening.
Here's Chinema. And quite fittingly, Tonkin has the final touch, and the referee brings proceedings to a halt here at Deakin Stadium. And Grace Gill, it's been a wonderful evening of football here, and we've seen some quite splendid goals as well.
Yeah, a lot to showcase tonight. Really exciting to see the Young Matildas and the Junior Football Ferns showcasing their talent against one another. So we've mentioned the familiar faces from across the A-League Women's too, so wonderful to see those young women back out plying their trade on an international stage.
And you'd have to go a long way to see a couple of better goals, different in their execution than Charlotte Lancaster's effort for the Football Ferns, and then of course Sheridan Gallagher's wonderful piece of improvisation in the second half.
Yeah, a couple of really lovely goals there, some nice set pieces as well in the way of some well converted penalties for the Young Matildas. So there's a lot to really enjoy and take away from this evening's match, and a good couple of halves of football. Yeah,
well, thanks for joining us, Grace. It's been an absolute pleasure to be back in commentary with you here in Canberra, and looking forward to Sunday and doing it all again at Viking Park. It's another game that we can really look forward to.
Yeah, likewise, Russ. A real pleasure, and it'll be great to be back out there again on Sunday at Viking Park, hopefully in a warm afternoon and another really good showcase of football.
Yeah, if you're in Canberra and you want to get there early, there's a fan day as well from 9:30 at Viking Park in Matilda's fan day, so it should be great day all around. It's been a good evening here at Deakin Stadium. The young Matildas got off the perfect start with Janaya Dos Santos giving them the lead inside 2 minutes. Then a penalty from Sarah Hunter, a strike from Daniela Galic made it 3-0. Charlotte Lancaster's effort just before the break reduced the arrears, but a second penalty, this one converted by Kylie Johnson, and a backheel finish from Sheridan Gallagher has given the CommBank Young Matildas the cookies in the first result of the international series here at Deakin Stadium. It's finished. The CommBank Young Matildas 5, the Junior Football Ferns 1.
In action against traditional rivals New Zealand. It's a world-class finish, a world-class play.
Gilnick, and it's in! Emily Gilnick gives Australia the lead before half-time.
Oh, Katie Bowen does, and that's in the back of the net for New Zealand.
Hayley Razzo, what a return! And Fowler in the back of the net, and it's 2 for Australia. Australia equalise! Lovely football. Kerr! How about that?
I think the best thing about playing the Football Ferns is that we have so much history with them. It's so lovely to be so close and to be able to play them in Australia after such a hard couple of years. It's also such a historic moment as we're about to embark on the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup, which will make it the most historic game in the lead up to. These games in Canberra are super important for the Matildas, although I won't be there, and it's quite a devastating story for me. I'm so excited for Lydia Williams to be able to come home and play in front of her friends and family. So good luck, girls, and can't wait to watch you play.